Hey everyone, and welcome back to another chapter of Can I Kiss You, written by me, Stacey Holt. Artwork was by ccerealbowl. As for my voice actors, Kumo will be voicing Catastrophe and Brantley. Obrezikyo will be voicing Hawkmoth. I'll leave their links below in the description. Now, Chapter 11. Here you go, princess. He smiled, sitting her down on her balcony. She should have declined his offer of taking her home, but what could she do? She didn't want Nathaniel and Mark following her home. She didn't know what they were up to, but whatever it was, she needed to put a stop to it. Or, well, Cat Noir would. We need to talk when the Akuma's taken care of. Her sudden tone and facial expression caused him to give a saddened look. Am I in trouble? His voice was hoarse, almost like he was scared of the answer. He looked worried, and she didn't want him to remain that way during the fight that he was about to partake in. Ugh, no, we just need to talk, okay? Now, go fight. Ladybug can't do it without you, she smiled. He nodded, though her response to his question clouded his mind in judgment. He knew when she was lying. It came with the boyfriend perks. Well, also knowing her for a few years as well. As soon as Cat Noir was out of sight, Marinette looked around. No one was around, so she transformed, throwing her yo-yo to help her glide her way around the city. She saw Cat Noir was a few buildings over once she made it to the top of another building. She looked around and saw Cat Noir was already in a fight with the akumatized victim. It was a boy, maybe in high school like she was. It was hard to say from where they were. The boy had white hair with a red hoodie. The red hoodie, however, had cat ears on top of the hood. The boy wore black jeans, with white threaded tail designs down one of the pant legs. His eyes were a lime green and gray. Ladybug watched as the tail designs came off of his pants, using them as a weapon. She saw Cat Noir notice her, and he rushed to her side almost immediately. I think the Akuma is in his bracelet, Cat Noir stated. Huh? How do you know that? She asked, giving him a confused look. It's just a hunch, but it's the only thing I can think of right now, Cat explained. I don't think... Before she had time to answer, she watched as Cat Noir rushed back into the fight. Cat, wait! She called. Though her call to him didn't make it in time, the villain slung him past her, slamming him into the building, causing bricks to fly. Ladybug zipped her way over to him, worried.
Those dumb tricks of yours won't defeat Catastrophe!
The boy laughed, watching the superheroes. Are you okay? I got the bracelet, he choked out, fighting back the pain that he just endured. He sat down on the rooftop, handing it to her. She picked it up carefully and gave Cat a saddened look. He didn't listen to her, and just carelessly rushed in with no plan. He got hurt because of his rash decisions. Was it because of the talk she wanted to have with him as Marinette? Cataclysm, he said, touching the bracelet, causing it to disintegrate. As the bracelet disintegrated, no butterfly emerged from it. Ladybug smiled while rolling her eyes, pulling out her yo-yo. A beeping from his ring caused both of them to look at his miraculous, seeing a dot on his paw print blinking until it vanished. Getting tired of this countdown. Aren't we adults yet? Cat groaned, a little irritated that his miraculous still had a countdown at 17. It'll happen eventually. Come on, we got a job to do. Ladybug smiled. They turned back to Catastrophe, the Akuma victim. They were getting ready to do another attack when all of a sudden a nearby child started crying. Ladybug watched as the Akuma victim called Catastrophe forgot all about her and Cat Noir, and instead jumped toward the child. Get away from... Ladybug yelled, but she soon stopped when she saw him making the child laugh and happy, rather than sad or hurt. Were they seeing this right? He picked the child up and found the mother, giving him back to her. Are you seeing this? Ladybug asked, astonished. I think the bad guy isn't as bad this time? Cat commented, rather confused. A purple mask laid over the villain's face. They saw the villain fall to his knees, almost as if he were in pain.
Get there, Miraculous! Stop playing these games, or I'll take your power away! Go, Catastrophe, now!
Hawkmoth scolded. The mask faded, and the boy stood back up. He pulled his hoodie up, hiding most of his face. The boy looked around, desperately searching. Cat Noir made his way to Ladybug, face full of determination. "I'm fine now. Are you ready?" Cat said, stretching with his baton. "Wait, this boy isn't a normal akumatized victim. He's different," Ladybug said, turning to Cat Noir. "What do you mean?" "Other than the fact that he helps civilians instead of hurt them?" Cat asked. "We need to watch him closely. We need to figure out where his Akuma is. Also, stay clear of his legs. I'm pretty sure his weapons are the designs on his pants." "Designs on the pants?" Cat asked, not impressed. "More specifically, the tail designs on them," Ladybug clarified, causing Cat Noir to turn to look more closely. "Cat designs? I think we're about to have ourselves a cat fight," he smirked. "Well, you might both be cats, but you're not as clawful as he is," he smiled. "I think you're a perfect partner, but a tad bit rash," she smiled back. "However, right now, we need more info on him." "Telling me my own jokes? Aw, are you starting to like them?" He smiled with a wink. "You wish," she rolled her eyes. "His Akuma could be in his pants. That's where his weapon is, right?" Cat suggested. "I'm not so sure. Look," Ladybug pointed. The victim was talking to himself, holding something in his hands. He was holding a necklace, though this necklace looked out of place. It was a dream catcher with 3 black feathers attached to it. It looked out of place on his outfit, almost like it was a puzzle piece meant for a different puzzle. "You thinking what I'm thinking?" "Always, milady." As they ran toward the Akuma victim, they noticed he had also taken an interest in them. Cat Noir jumped towards him first, trying to hit him with his baton. He ducked and kicked Cat Noir away, flying past Ladybug once again. Ladybug grit her teeth, pushing forward as fast as she could. She jumped toward the victim, throwing her yo-yo at him. Though as the yo-yo entangled him, he didn't seem upset or even fazed by his capture. Ladybug walked over to him, confused by this villain's strange behavior. Ladybug leaned down to him, wondering what he was doing or even thinking. Though as she leaned down, she could see a slight smirk growing more and more apparent. Before she had time to react, she felt something touch her leg. Ladybug blinked and looked down at her leg, but saw nothing there. She looked back up and saw the entire area she was in had changed. It was the horrible past she tried to prevent. She looked around and saw buildings were in shambles. The world was drenched and flooded with water. Ladybug stepped backwards out of mere horror and shock to be reliving her worst fear all over again. She heard a footstep behind her. She turned around and there he was. Her legs began to shake. She couldn't hold herself up any longer. She fell to her knees, frozen with fear as she saw Cat Blanc standing there, staring at her. "Ladybug!" Cat called out, seeing his partner collapse to her knees crying. He ran over to her, trying to comfort her, but she shoved him away. "Get away! No! Stop! Please don't be real! Please, no! Get away, Cat Blanc! I fixed everything! You shouldn't be here! No!" she cried, pulling her hands to her face. "Cat Blanc?" Cat's eyes widened. The yo-yo that was once tight around the villain loosened and fell onto the ground. The boy smiled and walked towards Ladybug, putting his hand on her shoulder. Cat grit his teeth and balled his hands into fists. "Get away from her! What did you do to her?" Cat called angrily.
This is my second ability. You figured out my first. Though this one is special. All I need is to touch you, he explained. I find out what you're most scared of and make it play on a loop. Whether it's something you're running from, your worst memory, or even forgotten horrible memories. I drew them out of her. Now, it's your turn. Seems like your little bug is going to be squashed after all.
Don't you touch her. You're going to pay for this, He got to his feet and darted toward him. Catastrophe wiggled his finger with a sly smile. Cat Noir ran towards him, though Catastrophe jumped over him, dodging him. Though he didn't dodge without purpose, he dodged his attack and still touched Cat Noir's arm as he slid by. Ladybug looked around, hearing Cat Noir's cries. Ladybug tried to steady her breathing, closing her eyes. "It's not real. It's not real. It's not real," she repeated, gripping the sides of her head to try and get a grip on her reality. Ladybug opened her eyes, and the images around her melted away, letting her see what was really happening. She sprinted forward, seeing that Catastrophe was close to taking his miraculous. She kicked him away, grabbing Cat Noir and zipping away. As she landed them in an alley nearby, she saw him collapse to his knees once they landed. He was still crying. Whatever he was seeing, it wasn't good. She needed to do something. What could she do? "Cat Noir, it's not real! Snap out of it!" she said, grabbing both of his shoulders to try and get him to hear her. He closed his eyes and turned away from her, trying to escape from the nightmare that he was reliving. "What can I do?" Ladybug sighed. She took a deep breath and put her hands on either side of Cat Noir's cheeks, where he had his hands. It was like he was curling himself up in a ball. She felt him shivering, from fear more than likely. She loved him. She wanted him to not be afraid. He was stronger than he realized. She just had to get him to see that. She gently moved his hands away from his face and leaned down to him. He sat there, his hands by his side, gripping the pavement. She sat in front of him, closed her eyes, and leaned in closer. She pressed her lips to his, and everything seemed almost magical. Cat blinked several times, feeling something warm against his face. He focused, and all of a sudden his surroundings melted away, and the only thing that remained was Ladybug, the girl who was kissing him. He leaned out, his face turning red under his mask. Ladybug, what are you doing?" His eyes wide with shock. "A kiss to wake the damsel in distress?" She smirked. He wanted to argue and tell her that he was dating someone, but again, that was his life. That was his information, and she made it perfectly clear that they shouldn't know anything, and didn't want to know anything about each other. Ladybug blinked and saw he was conflicted. Sorry, I just wanted to help you get out of the trance. Nothing else was working," she apologized. It's fine. Come on. We need to free the villain from Hawkmoth," Cat said, standing up. Though as they looked around, the villain was gone. Ladybug sighed and took out her yo-yo. "Come on, let's split up." "Why? Why are you playing with my feelings like this?" The sudden statement caused Ladybug to turn and look at him. He was tense and almost frustrated. What do you mean?" "For years, you act like you don't love me, or even like me. All of a sudden, you kiss me just for testing to see if it would work. I have a girlfriend now. I want you to stop playing with my feelings." He turned and glared at her. Cat? Her eyes started to water. "I never should have helped you. You're the most useless partner ever. Why did Master Food choose you of all the people in Paris? I could never love someone like you." He narrowed his eyes. "Cat, this can't be real. You would never say those things to me," she cried. "These are the things I've been holding in. I've never wanted to tell you to spare your feelings, but you're the worst miraculous holder, the worst guardian to have ever lived, the worst person I loved." "Ladybug," a voice rang around her. She looked around desperately. The voice was so familiar, but muffled. Where was it coming from? Who was it? "Ladybug, wake up," the voice called again, a little more clear than the last time. "Ladybug, snap out of it, please," the voice pleaded. As Ladybug looked back at Cat Noir coming closer, she noticed something odd about him. There was a glitch that happened ever so slightly. Ladybug wiped her tears and threw her yo-yo toward Cat Noir, crashing into something that broke like glass. The reality around her shattered, revealing Cat Noir by her side instead. She was laying on the ground. She looked up at him and saw him looking down at her with a worried expression. "Thank God you're all right." He sighed a breath of relief. What's going on? She looked around for more information, but saw they were just sitting on a random rooftop. He touched you and you passed out or something. What happened to you? He asked worriedly. How do I know if this is real? She scrambled backwards in fright that she was still trapped in an ever-ending loop. What's a trance and what's real? I can't tell anymore! Milady? He gave a saddened look, watching her afraid of him. What did he do to you? He asked, sitting down in front of her. She sighed and relaxed a bit, seeing that he wasn't there to hurt her, physically or emotionally, which helped her settle down. I was trapped in some sort of false reality. I thought I broke free. I thought I was helping you break free of it as well, but turns out I found out I never escaped it in the first place. I heard you calling for help. I don't know what kind of vision you were having, but it wasn't good. She sighed, turning away. Sounds complicated, but I'm perfectly fine. He hasn't touched me yet. He frowned. Don't worry about me. I can handle anything he throws my way. He was probably just trying to mess with you even more. Where did he go? She asked, hoping to change the subject. He's still looking for us. I couldn't do this without you. Cat outstretched his hand for her to take and gave a soft smile in return. She was hesitant, afraid that this was another trick. She assumed he could tell by the face she was making. Please, trust me, milady, he pleaded. She swallowed and nodded, taking hold of his hand. He helped her to her feet, and she hugged him once they were both on their feet. She couldn't tell him he was her boyfriend. She couldn't tell him anything, but she needed the hug and reassurance. It was the only thing that was keeping her sane for the time being. Her reliance and trust in her partner. LB? He asked uncomfortably. I know. Let's end this. Do you need to feed your Kwame? Ladybug asked. No, I de-transformed in Feplag. I transformed back around that corner over there, and came back to get you out of your trance. He reassured her as he pointed to where he de-transformed. Oh, okay. Thank you, by the way, she said faintly. No problem, milady. Now, let's finish this. Cat smiled, holding out his hand as he stood up. Ladybug smiled and took hold of his hand, then hoisted herself up off of the ground. They both took off toward where the villain was, assuming he was coming from the commotion that was happening downtown. The sun that was setting in the background gave them just enough light to end the fight. Just as she thought, she grabbed hold of the necklace and threw it to Cat Noir. He cataclysmed it, both smiling at one another as the butterfly finally emerged. She caught it and released it, letting it fly away into the night. Ladybug threw her lucky charm into the air that she used to defeat him, letting it fix everything that the villain had destroyed. That was a bit of a roller coaster. Ladybug sighed while smiling. Yeah, no kidding. Anyways, what did you see earlier that freaked you out so bad? Cat asked, holding his fist out. I'd rather not say, she smiled, fist bumping him. Aw, LB, come on, Cat pouted, watching her wink and zip away. Cat huffed and turned his focus back to the Akuma victim, who was now just a regular boy. He looked nothing like his other form. He had dark black hair with blue eyes with a little bit of lavender seeping through. He wore black sneakers and blue jeans with a black t-shirt. Cat looked down and picked up his necklace, giving it back to him. Here, sorry about what happened to you, but it's over now. He smiled.
Oh, thank you,
he said, taking back his necklace and hooked it around his neck. Cat smiled and heard his ring beep yet again. Well, I have to go. Be more careful from now on. Hawkmoth akumatizes people based on powerful emotions. Cat smiled, about to take his leave.
Yeah, I better get going too. Wait!
Cat turned back to him, confused.
Do you happen to know a girl named Marinette?